Mhm.
So I have to ask you, Lance, what did you like better about Rocky 2 more than Rocky?
Well, I think the biggest and probably the most watered down answer I could give is that he wins this time, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
because like the first movie, like as great as it is, I think it's super realistic to see that like this underdog that nobody's heard of, the his he doesn't win that fight. Right, like he goes the distance, which is all really he just didn't want to be embarrassed, right? And
Yeah.
so that was kind
Yes.
of that was his motivating factor.
And
And in this one,
no one had gone the distance with him.
exactly.
Either,
And
yeah.
so winning wasn't going to be what ended up happening in that movie. And so but this one in the sequel is like, all right, well, Adrian even tells him, you got to win at this time, right? Like you
Mhm.
could go to the distance again and you know what? He wins, right? And then the ending I still love the, yo Adrian, I did it. And her at home, like saying how much she loves him, and like Rocky, like you could see the cost. You could see is like, look, I finally climbed the mountaintop, right? I love that type of feeling when you see that in various media, when you see people like reaching some a goal that was probably otherwise thought unattainable for who they were and what their circumstance were, and then they actually get it. I love that type of feeling. So I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I completely agree. Him coming back from basically like an insurmountable kind of challenge, especially
Hmm.
after the damage he took, the physical toll it took on his body the
Yeah,
first fight, and how he couldn't really see out of his one eye. Burgess Meredith even slaps him, and he didn't even
yeah,
see it. He didn't even see it coming.
nope,
That was also I thought was a really great scene too of just really a strong theme with this movie is identity and who you are.
yes,
I mean, you see Apollo really struggles with that.
hmm,
I won, but I didn't beat him. When he
yeah,
says that, it's so powerful to me when for him to say that. Yeah,
yeah,
he won technically. He's still the champ, but he feel like he didn't. He feels like he didn't win because of the
yeah.
response from everybody.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, like watching this again, it's very prescient about like how we view athletes today and and what they do, and how athletes view themselves, and how they may say how they don't pay attention to what people are saying about them, but they read every single thing, and they know exactly what people perceive, and they know exactly what people talk about and think about, right? Like so, like if you blow a 3-1 lead, people are gonna ride you about that for forever, right? You have like think about Kevin Durant and how like he always is going back and forth with people on Twitter about everything because he's constantly getting like hounded by people about pretty much anything that he does. You have Tom Brady and like how people think about him, and and all these athletes and all these different walks of life and different type of sports, they know exactly what's being said about them, and they want to try to either change the narrative of that or try to prove people wrong all of the time. And I think it's interesting that we have people in the 70s doing that when that is the culture now, like in to like the nth degree at this point.